Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Relationship Codes. Now, normally when y'all show up here, you see my girl Kasha B, but she's out in that field working really hard. So today I have a very special guest because her contribution to the Relationship Codes is going to be seriously important, and we really need to get these tools and these codes that she's going to drop down. Welcome my special guest, Regina Martin, who is a educational professional and a coach. And today we are here talking about those relationship codes for the young folk and the older adults going back to school. There are some steps, there are some paths that we need to take, and so I brought in an expert to go along with some relationship codes. Regina, thank you for showing up today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. It's great to be here.
Yes, yes. So we're gonna jump right into it. A lot of times today, our conversations have been around really about bridging two worlds.
Mhm.
When you go and you bridge two worlds, you're kind of preparing teens for either college, a trade, entrepreneurship, and it's really about dealing with the truth so that you can work on readiness and become independent, but you don't stay at being independent. You work on becoming interdependent because that is how safety and wealth is made. And so, thank you so much, Regina, for being here. So, tell us a little bit about your work and what you see that has driven you to stay in the educational profession area and start coaching the young folks.
So, thank you again for having me. My name is Regina Martin. I am a professor, I am an educational professional, and I am a coach. The name of my platform is Dare to Dream Motivational Speaking and Coaching LLC. And the program and the platform has been derived because of the conversations that I've had with students, I've had with many of my friends. Because what happens is we are trying to find out what the next chapter of our lives are supposed to look like, and we have forgotten how to dream. So, this platform speaks to goal setting, it speaks to SMART goals, it also speaks to crafting what your vision should look like. And your vision should not be defined by other people, but you need to learn how to decide what you want to do and how you want to do it. Working with students, they're still trying to figure things out. So, what we do in the Dare to Dream platform is we talk about the dream method, we talk about development, and we talk about how that dream method can be impactful, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well.
Okay, so let me just ask you a question. Let's jump right into it. So, I'm really solution focused. Can you talk about some of the problems, or one or two or three of the main problems that you see that people are not prepared for when it comes down to themselves and preparing for relationships at the next level?
I think that they base their future relationships based off of their past relationships. A lot
Mm,
of the students that come into the high school, from the high school to the college space, are expecting and assuming that college is an extension of high school, and they don't understand that there is much greater responsibility that is on their shoulders when they enter the college space. Their secondary school was paid for, and they didn't have to pay for it. But college is a whole different game. It teaches you how to be responsible. It also teaches you how to advocate for yourself. As a professor, one of the things that I tell my students is that you are not going to get an A, you're going to earn an A. And they feel as though it's just an automatic give me because of the fact that they happen to be an athlete, or they came in with a GPA of 4.0, rock star from high school. But what happens is that people have different expectations, and they don't know how to adjust those expectations to the scenario that they're in. And that's something that I find in college all the time. One of the things that I ask my students when they first come to my class is, why are you here? That's the first question that I ask. And I'm very intentional about that question because it helps me to understand what I'm working with the student, what type of student I'm working with. So the majority of the answers that I usually get is, "Well, miss, I'm here because I'm on your schedule," but that's not the answer that I'm looking for. So I pretty much play the, did your parents have the conversation with you and say you have to go through door number 1, education, door number 2, trade, number 3, military, or number 4, still trying to figure it out? So once I open up that door and have that conversation with them, it helps me to build a relationship with the student to help me to understand the type of student that I'm working with so I can best support them.
Okay, so I want to ask this question. So
Mhm.
preparation is what builds confidence, not,
Absolutely.
not control. And really, true readiness is about developing your inner confidence. It's not about managing outside circumstances. And so when teens are preparing for college or a trade, it's really not about the academic piece of it, but it's about trusting their own decision making. Like when it comes down to, okay, I'm going to choose to build a business versus going to a party. What are 3 things when they come in that you see that they're not ready for, that they need to get ready for?
Time management is number 1 at the top of the list because they don't understand that when it comes to working in a college space, you have responsibilities and you have to turn in that work when the deadline says that you have to turn it in.
Look,
College is not, let's make a deal. Miss, I had to watch the NFL game. I fell asleep and I meant to get my work done, but you know how it is. They try to play, let's make a deal. I'm not that professor. I will help you to understand about choices. If you know that you have an NFL game that you want to watch and it's coming on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you have a 10-page paper that you have to write and submit by 11:59, it's all about the choices and the actions behind the choices. And one of the things that I see in that space is that students don't know how to manage their time. The next thing I will talk about is learning how to advocate for themselves. Self-advocacy is something that I preach in my class all the time because I cannot help you if I don't know how to help you. I can't assume that you're doing well and that you don't need my help. If you are struggling, I need to know how you're struggling and how I can best support you. And to piggyback off of what you said about the circumstances around people having to deal with life things in and out of the classroom, honestly, I see more of that than you realize. There are a lot of my students that are taking classwork and they're working a job so that they can contribute to the household, and they're trying to find that balance. And I
right.
think that that's something that a lot of people sleep on as professors. They just feel like that they're supposed to teach, but they also need to be observant and understand that that student is still a baby trying to come out and be an adult. And sometimes adulting is not what they think it should be. And they're trying to find that happy balance. And the last thing that I will say is the importance of being able to surround themselves with people that can help them to be the best version of themselves that they need to be. And yes, that kind of ties in with self advocacy, but it's kind of separate in itself because the only way that you are going to better yourself is to be able to make smart choices about the people you surround yourself with. Lots of times those consequences that students take on have a lot to do with the people and the circle of people that they're with. So having to navigate that while trying to go to college and while trying to advocate for themselves to be successful is something that a lot of students struggle with, and they lose their footing sometimes because they don't understand how to get around it.
Right. And that's so true. Just to give a little caveat, I was a director of admissions. I worked with caseloads of first generation college students. And I think it is very important. The one thing that you said is time management.
Mhm.
You don't even have to be a college student. Us adults struggle with time management. try running a business and you have to market, you got to prepare your materials, then you have to do a speech, and then you have to work on the sales, and then you got to do a CRM system. That's all time management. So time management will be a major, major, major step number one when you are going to college and
Mhm.
being able to figure that type of thing out. And I would also add this one
Mhm.
relationship code. Work on your wholeness. Now,
Mm.
it's going to look different for everybody, but wholeness
Mhm.
starts with understanding how you're wired, your strengths. And that's what we do here at Relationship Avenues. We actually provide personal awareness and success training that teaches people how they're wired so that they can operate in their wholeness. Because when you operate in wholeness, you attract wholeness in other people. When
Mhm.
you don't operate in your own wholeness, what ends up happening is you don't attract whole people. And so
Mm. Mhm.
going through that personal awareness and assessment process helps you to become whole so that you can attract wholeness in other people. And that's what helps you with those relationship codes, whether you are working on a trade, whether you are first year in school, or whether you're going back to school. You have to have those good, positive relationships in your inner circle in order to be able to elevate.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, in your coaching program, what is one of the major tools or your major focuses once you bring in a student? So, if a mother or a father or parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles want to get someone into your program, what's kind of the first things that that person, when they get into your program, that they would be working on?
Well, it as you said, you kinda alluded to it just a few minutes ago. You have to understand the whole person and what it is that they're trying to, what they're trying to achieve, and that begins with goal setting. So we talk about goal setting in SMART goals, and we identify what those are, and we throw that word SMART goals around like it's a frisbee, but there's really a lot of, there's a lot more to it and a lot more meat to it than a lot of people realize. I think that working with students and helping them to understand what is your end goal? Do you wish to work for someone? Do you wish to work on your own? Do you wish to just continue to go to school until you figure things out? Now, I know that the last one is kind of crazy, but believe it or not, more people than not will end up on a trajectory to go get a degree in one area and then midstream they switch up, because they realize that that is not who they are and that's not what they represent. So, having that conversation about goal setting is where we begin. And then what will happen is we talk about the importance of taking advantage of the relationships that are around you and the resources that are around you. Going on college tours and talking to college people who can help you to get in the door is another thing that we talk about. We talk about those strategies. But I take it a little bit further too, especially if students are going to college for the first time and they are going into a roommate situation. I have a section in my book that talks about the boundary experience and what that means in some spaces. A lot of kids are going into school and they've never had to share a space with anyone else. So we talk about how to adapt with those interactive relationships with those roommates, because some young people don't know how to talk to other young people. They would rather text or chat or whatever, but they don't actually have a conversation. Yes, you can be book smart when it comes to college, but you also have to be very savvy in the world of relationships and how to navigate the likes and the dislikes of the person that you're going to be sharing a space with. Building the relationships with your professors, talking about making sure that you're staying connected with them, and being able to have a respectful conversation where you can agree to disagree and have a productive conversation about how they're doing in the class and and if they're not doing well in the class, how they can do better and who can point them in the direction so that they can be resourceful. So a lot of the key things that I talk about with the students that I coach, it helps them to navigate not just in the classroom but outside of the classroom too, because I tell students all the time, the habits that you create now will follow you for the rest of your life.
That's
So if
right.
you create the habit of managing your time well, if you manage self advocacy, if you have the ability to surround yourself with people who want to see yourself successful, then what that does is that kind of replicates, and you want to be able to pass that knowledge on to other people. And most importantly, you want to be able to be impactful for yourself so that people can see your value. When you go into the workforce, if they see that you are a person that is of value, if you see that, if that person sees that you manage your time well, that you know how to articulate and you can have a conversation without relying on your technical device in order to communicate. Those are skills that a lot of people take for granted, but they have to understand that the world is not a very nice place once you leave the safety of college or school or whatever. They're going to want you to come correct, do what you got to do, and if they're not aligning with what it is that you're trying to put out, then you might have to go back to the drawing board and really dig a little bit deeper.
Okay, so let me I wanna break that down, and I
Mhm.
wanna back up a little bit because I
Sure.
think it's very valuable at what you said. You said SMART goals.
Mhm.
So can you just give are you able to break down what the S and the M and the A and the R and the T is for? Just because I think it's very important with goals.
Mhm.
So I went to college and I changed my major 5 times
See?
because they will tell you to go after your passion. And I understand what they were saying, but it was a little backwards. Really, you're supposed to go after your purpose. And that is what's led by your passion, not the other way around. Let me give you an example. I was really good in math. I was good in trigonometry. I was good in physics. I was great in chemistry. And so, what do you think they would tell you to do? Oh, well, you should go and be an
And
engineer.
mhm.
Look, I didn't even finish the first semester in engineering and they kicked me out of that college. They was like, look, dude, you can't be in the
This ain't
college of
you,
engineering.
dude.
Look, this is not gonna work for you. And I changed my major 5 times in college because I was going after the money. That's a big no-no. And it took me up until the age of 28 years old before I realized that my purpose, I have the ability to analyze and reverse engineer and come up with a solution.
Mhm. Mm.
That is what my skill set was. But when you don't have a person who specializes in that, you are kind of lost. So when you talked about SMART goals, can you break down what those are for people so that they can get a better understanding of what to do?
Sure. So the S for SMART goals stands for the word specific, and the M in SMART goals is measurable. The A is achievable. The R is relevant, and the T is time based. So, what you want to do with the S in SMART goals, you want to be specific about the goal that you're trying to achieve. You have to be very intentional and be specific about what it is that you want. You can say that you want to be a psychoanalyst with a concentration in X, but you have to be specific about what you kind of file it down. That's just like me telling people, well, I am this, but I also do this and I do this. No, you have to be specific about what it is that you want to do. And the passion part definitely plays a key role because you're insensitized to be able to push forward because it's something that you love doing. It wasn't until I was in my 40s on 50s before I discovered where my passion was. And a lot of people, they're like, oh wow, you didn't you it was that late. Yes, I was a late bloomer. I checked all the
Look,
boxes, did everything that I had to do, but the reality was I had to go through some things. And as we were talking off mic, I had to bump my head a few times before I could figure it all out. So the measurable piece is that you have to be able to understand how you are going to take on that goal. Are you going to take it on in small pieces? Are you going to take it in big pieces? I would advise against the latter because of the fact that when you do things smaller, it means that you're being intentional about the goal that you're trying to work towards. So, measurable means that you can do things in small pieces. So, in other words, if you have a goal and you say 3 months, I want to be here, and another 3 months, I want to be here, and so on and so forth, if you do it in smaller goals and smaller increments, it will help you to achieve it a lot faster and it'll have a lot more intention behind it. And a lot of people like to rush through things, and
Yes, they
that is
do.
not productive. And then you end up back to square one when you try to rush through stuff. We are in an instantaneous society. We're like a microwave. We want everything to happen like magically, and that's not how goals are supposed to work. You have to learn how to take your time and really pay close attention to what it is that you want to do. And you also want to make sure within the A for smart goals is achievable.
That's
Now,
right.
it's not to say that you won't achieve it, but you have to also make sure that you are achieving it in a way that is not rushed. Because if you rush it, then what ends up happening, you take your eye off the ball, and then you end up everything kinds to go tends to get gray because you're trying to think, oh well, maybe if I do this, and you'll take another thing on and you add to what you already are trying to build. It's not to say that you can't add to what it is that you're trying to do, but it means that you have to incorporate it into your existing specific goal.
That's
So
right.
not to say that adding things is wrong, because it's not, but you have to add it in so that it aligns with what you started out with. It's almost like a set of building blocks with a baby. A baby takes a block and they take another block and then they take another block and then they take another block. Now, with babies, what tends to happen is they get frustrated and they knock the blocks down and they have to start all over again. You don't want to treat your SMART goals like a set of building blocks. However, do understand that anything worth having when it comes to a goal is going to require work, it's going to require commitment, it's going to require putting yourself in rooms with people that can help you to achieve that goal. So I always tell people, surround yourself with people that are already doing what you aspire to do, because
That's
that's the
right.
best learning tool that you can ever have. If there's a person who wants to be a baker and they know somebody who has a bakery and they're baking out of their house, but they want to be a baker, this is something that they want to do. Connect with the person who's already doing what you want to do.
That's
Let them
right.
mentor you. Let them allow to show you the ropes. And then who knows? You get a 2 for 1. You get a mentor and you get a place where you can bake your stuff and you're doing something that you're passionate about. So that's an achievable goal. But you have to make sure that you position yourself in the right way because timing is everything. Being relevant, so there's a lot of people, entrepreneurs in particular, that try to start a business, but they don't understand that it takes time to establish yourself in a business. And more importantly, it allows you to make sure that people are interested what it is that you have. So that means that you have to remain relevant. And you have to make sure that you have something that people want and that your product or your goal is will solve a problem. And that's something that I have had to learn over the past year or so. What does my platform do? What problem does it solve? It's great to start a business, but you have to be able to understand, who are you serving? Why are you serving them? And what problem do you solve? So you have to remain relevant.
That's
And
right. That's
and
that's su- that's that's super important about being
yes.
relevant. And I'm gonna put this out there because relevant triggered a thought. Right
Okay.
now, if people are not interested in going to college, and that's okay too, but they wanted to pick up a trade, they need to be in the electrician field. With the way AI is going, they need
Woohoo!
all types of grids built. It's
Yes.
going to be an upcoming, and it's going to be a market that's going to blow up. So that's just, from where I'm sitting and I'm watching what is happening in the market. And the
Mhm.
smart goals is similar to kind of what I work, one of the tools I work with, and is vision statement planning. And my motto is vision before decision.
I
And
like that.
in my singles dating course, It's really about becoming a complete single. And so we do a 10-year projection. So, where do I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? And so it goes year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But at year one, it's broke down 0 to 3 months, 3 months to 6 months, 6 months to 9 months, and 9 months to a year.
Mhm.
When you start doing that, your focus begins to shift because you realize what you want, you're not on that path to get. And that's why it's very important when I talk about purpose must lead the passion,
Mhm.
because we do it the other way around. We're often told, or we often tell teens, follow your heart, follow your passion. And that'll get us down the wrong road quicker than anything. If you map that thing out on paper and you can follow it and you can map it out, then you apply your passion to it, because your purpose is what comes on paper first, not just following your feelings. And then the next thing you know, you off in a ditch, or you done got your heart broke, or you done spent all this money on a degree that you don't even use.
Mm. Okay, speak that.
Look, look.
That's who, man, that is something. There is something that I want to share with your audience today. There is a book that really helped me as an entrepreneur, and I it's a short read, and I encourage anybody that can get it to get it. It's called The 10 Distinctions Between the Millionaire and the Middle Class.
Uh-oh, you're gonna
These
have to
guys,
say
it
that one
all
more
has to do
time.
with mindset.
You're gonna have to say that one more time, please.
The 10 dis-
Yeah, you're gonna have to say
okay,
that
the
one more
10
time.
distinctions. Which one? The title?
The name of the book, yes.
Okay. The 10 distinctions between millionaires and the middle class. You can Google it. I think I forgot the man's name. I wish I had it on the top of my brain, but it's a short read. But I will leave you with this. The difference in the book that talks about the difference between the mindset of a millionaire and the mindset of the middle class. The millionaire plans decade to decade. The middle class plans year to year. So that speaks to SMART goals. That also speaks to the mindset that you have to have, whether it be to be an entrepreneur, whether it to be to finish college, whether it to be to pick up a trade. You have to move differently sometimes. And when you move differently, the people that surround you are going to determine whether or not you're going to propel to where you need to go. Because sometimes the relationships that you curate with people sometimes could either propel you or hold you back.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So as we get ready to bring it around and wrap it up, I want to drop one more book and resource out. This one young lady I know, when she was in college, she wrote her first book. It was called Skip the Party, Start a Business. And she started her first company. I don't know if she was 18 or 19.
Mhm.
Superstar nail lacquer. Look, she set the model. She skipped the party, and she now look, let me tell you, finances is not an issue. And that's
Um,
really the position that we all want to be in. And so for the people out there that want to get their teens or their young adults going back to school and they want some additional direction, how can they get in touch with you?
So, if you'd like to learn more about the Dare to Dream platform, you can reach out to me on my website at iamreginamartin.com. On that page, you'll be able to go and you can book a consultation with me or have a conversation so that we can learn more about each other and see if this program is a fit that will benefit your young person or even someone that you might know that is struggling in between trying to go to college and trying to find their purpose at the same time. So they can go to my website, IamReginaMartin.com, and I'll be more than happy to book a call with you, and we can have a conversation about how we can curate your dream while building your destiny.
Look, thank you so much for being on, Regina. Look, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see each other on a stage again. And
Absolutely.
so I want to thank you for being here and sharing. And so as we get ready to close out the relationship codes, understand that all relationships, personal and professional, there are rules that apply to it. And the
Mm,
first thing you do before you go into any type of a relationship is you get clarity of the vision. And that is what guides your emotional investment. Don't let your emotions lead you into a decision. Put it on paper first, put it in
mm,
a journal first, see it first, make your vision before your decision.
mm.
And that is my time. Happy Wednesday, everybody. And we will see you soon. Regina, thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate